Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, Evil Husbands and Wives. Evil Husbands and Wives. Now, I know for some individuals, that is the last thing they want to think about, is that their potential partner or current partner is evil. And if he or she is not exhibiting any signs that they are evil, then this message isn't for you. And you simply click off and find another message. But for those individuals who you suspect that something is just dark, disturbing, disheartening, evil, then continue to listen, because you see, we live in a world at times where we have some people in it that are a bit delusional. You got the mother-in-law that doesn't want to believe her son is evil. You got the father-in-law who doesn't want to believe that his cute, sweet, nice daughter has a dark side. You've got some people who have, as I said in another message, magical thinking. The evidence and proof is right there that there is some evil. But I just want to believe that I didn't make that mistake getting connected to someone who has a dark side. I want to believe that I have a great relationship because my Facebook post shows some pretty family pictures. When I put together the message, she wants the baby, and another message about people who have prayed about wanting a family. At the time when I had recorded those messages prior to upload, it was months before the news reports came out about, as well as some of those shows that came out about these men killing their children. Okay? And the wives too. When I wrote When Mothers Cry, I wrote it because I wanted some people to understand the mindset before the craziness of some of these mothers who killed their children. I also, though, included a chapter in there about fathers who didn't want to be fathers. Okay? And some folks may have just overlooked that chapter or didn't think too much about it because, well, I'm out the clear. And this is just a book that takes me back down memory lane and all my struggles. And praise God, I'm out of all of this. But that was a serious chapter because it was prophetic. We are in a time where it's only going to get more crazy when it comes to men not wanting to be fathers. Why? Why would we be in that season of this sort of thing? Because things simply cost too much. And men have been programmed to make money, right? To get that good job, to take care of families. But when a man can't take care of his family in the way that he wants, when a man might be even hooked up with a crazy making partner, when a man might be having his share of mental illness and disorders and he chooses not to get any type of counseling, he's going to turn on those who's closest to him. We have seen over and over again in movies, and we've heard through the grapevine about relatives who have been beaten by their partners. I know that when I dug deep into family history, I saw a pattern of men who had been abusive to not only their wives or girlfriends, but also their children too. And what was interesting was that all of this abuse happened during a time when there was this long season of folks struggling financially. Back in the day, many men beat their women. Nowadays, they're killing them. Okay? And when you see a pattern showing up of evil, you could do one or two things. You can keep on wishing and hoping that it don't happen to you or somebody close to you, or you can be on your knees praying, having that intercessory prayer, not just for people who you know, but people who you don't know. Evil husbands and wives, angry about finances, angry that they made mistakes. And that's what they consider is a mistake when they bring children into the world. Burdened by all sorts of things, people who have recently passed away, money issues from way back when, not having enough time to do what they want, not wanting to deal with the cries in the other room from children. Can't somebody get me up out of this thing? No, they may not be putting children on an altar and burning them like they did in the days of Molech in the Bible. But what they are doing is they're sacrificing via simply murdering. No affiliation, at least they believe, to Satan. But you sure got a lot of evil ways that look quite satanic. Evil husband, evil wife. Some of these people have been blatantly called evil. Now, it's wrong to call somebody evil when you're just retaliating, when you're vengeful, and you know full well you're the evil one. But when a person has showed definite signs that they have a demonic presence in and around them, you better believe it. And that's when you've got to be that one that says, wait a minute, is this going to be one of those seasons or time periods or something about to go down where I'm going to need to pack up? Matter of fact, let me just already get my bags packed up and in the trunk just in case. Evil husbands and wives, when they lose it, they're not thinking about the consequences. They're not thinking about what might result as a result of what they did or didn't do. Because sometimes it's not even about them doing something. They just choose not to do something like help a child that is suffering, that's dying. Evil. Evil men, evil women, evil husbands and wives. Why would I specifically target husbands and wives in this message? Because husbands and wives, typically when you look at any type of post on the internet or elsewhere, you're going to see a husband and wife who's got a smile on their face. You're going to go back into their pictures and see their wedding photos. You're going to see where they were there for their children during the birthing process. You're going to see all of this beautiful stuff on the internet. But what you're not going to see is the evil, because they are going to strategically make sure that you don't see the ugliness. Because, well, that's just not cool. That's not trendy. And people don't need to be in my business. They don't need to be in your business, period, whether good, bad, or otherwise, because you're in a marriage, a holy marriage, supposedly. But you got people who they want to broadcast everything. And then when something negative, something dark, something disturbing happens, you can't believe it, witness. You can't believe it. Because you were brainwashed into believing that everything was okay and all right with your daughter, with your son in that marriage to that evil person. Sometimes the family can see the evil before the person who's getting ready to marry sees it, or the one that's already in the marriage sees it. We may nudge our fellow relative and say, she just don't know what she got herself into. Wait till that smile comes off his face. I know, right? He has a dark side. I know they said that sort of thing about me and my partners that I chose. Okay? It's no secret. And when the evil showed up, when the darkness showed up, I didn't sit up there and say, no, it can't be. I had to deal with the fact that, yes, it is. But how deep is that evil? See, that's somebody's question right now who's in the relationship. How deep is this evil concerning my partner? well, you're the one that's going to have to figure out how much of that evil you're going to be able to tolerate. Because you see, some evil is just, I have an evil attitude today because I don't like this, that, and the other that took place, right? But then it fades away and you're on to being your little chipper self, just as happy. But then there's that evil that lingers. And some folks, you've been dealing with that evil with a partner for a long time. And some of you all know that sooner or later he or she's going to snap. You know it. You can feel it. Even God himself has even told you that the day is going to come where darkness is going to come out into the light for everybody to see, read about it, hear about it. Now, do you want to be his victim? Or do you want to be her victim? Or do you want to get out while you still can? Do you want your children to succumb to that evil? Do you want to bury your children? You see, when you got somebody, for instance, I'm going to give you an example of evil rising up in a husband or a wife. When you got somebody that starts freaking out on the kids and the dog gets kicked and the kids end up their bodies being thrown across the room somewhere, and now you have a wife or husband that's laying on the floor, and let's say that you witnessed all this. It's safe to say that that person, they're crazy. Matter of fact, let's pick up the phone and call 911. And let's even go further and talk with some attorneys. And let's not get on that spiritual trip because, see, there's some people's lives at stake. You see, you got some people who get on that weak, passive spiritual trip where we just going to forgive and forget. I'm not going to do that. I'm telling all of you all right now that if something crazy like that goes down, I'm not looking to be forgiving anybody at that time. I'm looking to put some people in behind bars. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care what the title is. And I'm sure some of you all, you share the same thought. If I witness something crazy go down, no, the daughter didn't die through that situation. No, the kids didn't die through that situation. But that is a wake-up call. That's a warning. You don't keep people in situations like that. They may be brainwashed into believing it's okay and all right because they just went through something like that a day or 2 weeks ago or what have you. But I know you are losing it, daughter. I got to pull you out of this thing. You see what I mean? This business of not wanting to be in people's business, that's ridiculous. Sons going off the deep end because they have gone through so much with a wife. I bought her. I gave her. I did everything I possibly could. I'm losing it. He's telling his mama this. He's telling his daddy this. And all they're saying is things like, well, you know, that's how women can be. No, forget that. He is losing it. Okay? Who scratched up the car? Who did this or who did that? It was her. Oh my goodness. So she is a nut job. I need you out of that relationship, son. But she, this, that, and the other. No. And I want my grandkids protected as well. And let her deal with her issues. Well, I got a baby on the way. I don't care if you got a baby on the way. She needs to be quarantined, if you will. She needs to be by herself. But you and those kids, y'all need to get up out of that house. Okay? Somebody, this is your truth. And when you see stuff in the media that take place, like all of us, we've seen a lot. And right here in the state of Colorado, we saw a major story. And some folks were watching it unfold. I caught the tail end of it when they found the bodies. Look, this was a man who was going through a whole lot of stuff, right? Evidently, the wife was dismissing some things because you can't tell me that you didn't see any signs, right? And now she's gone. The family could have picked up on some things and just reasoned, well, he's just having a bad day. Too many bad days. Look, we got to pay close attention to what's happening around us. And message after message, I bring to light things for people to think about, not for people to go and act ignorant and just downright disrespectful toward other people, but pay attention to the signs that somebody is evil. The husband is evil. When he's talking evil, there is something inside of him that is gaining some momentum, that's growing. And sooner or later, his hand is going to act evil. his feet is going to act evil. He may not slap nobody in the household, but his feet is going somewhere where evil is to get his evil pleasures met. Okay? The wife who sits up there and she's cussing and fussing about everything, and it just doesn't seem like anybody in the household can have any type of peace. There is something brewing on the inside of her. Sometimes it is health related with men and women. Sometimes it isn't. Okay? Even the doctors can't explain. The psychologists, I don't know. I throw my hands up. The psychiatric medicines and so forth that are given. I don't know. Okay? Evil is ugly, is dark, and is meant to kill, steal, and destroy. Okay? But what happened? I can hear somebody now say something like, but what happened to those vows? I mean, these are people who, they go to the church. This would be a question that an unbeliever or skeptic might ask. They go to the church. They have the minister praying for them. They have all the mothers and the fathers and everybody else, because some of you all, you witness this sort of thing. And they exchange vows, and it's a beautiful wedding. And God's covering's supposed to be on it, right? Right. So then how is it that this husband becomes evil? How is it that this wife becomes evil? Look, it was a show. What? A show. It was a show. A wedding is a show. You watch it just like you watch a television show. You know that there's actors and actresses, right? There's script writers. There's people who have to make sure that everything goes as planned. How much heart was really in it? Well, I would like to believe that my mother or my brother or my sister, my cousin or whoever really loved that person, right? Right. That's what you would like to believe, but God knows the heart. You see, we're just spectators at the event. But God knows the heart, and God knows that a lot of people, they get married in the church for what? It's like a lucky rabbit's foot. Oh, I'm getting married because it just seems like the right thing to do. I'm getting married in the church, and all of the saints as well as the sinners are there because, well, it's tradition. If I have not truly changed my mindset about some things, I'm not truly saved, sanctified, and Holy Ghost filled, I'm going to go into something because it's just a show. It's a routine. It's something nice. It's something fun. It's something that we both agreed to spending a whole lot of money on. But now evil has showed up. It was just in hiding during the show. Somebody, this is the truth about your husband, about your wife. It was in hiding during the show. And so now that the lights and the cameras and everything is off, I get to see the real person behind closed doors. That person was somebody who was a great actor or actress. Some of you all even said it during the heat of argument. You were just acting. You weren't real about this thing. I'm going through some challenges and you're not even there for me. Evil shows up when he didn't bring the soup to you and you needed it. Evil shows up, Jesus. I got to be specific because the Lord showed me some things. Evil showed up when he threatened to beat you. He didn't do it, but he threatened. Sooner or later, he going to make good on that threat because other crazy stuff is going to come out his mouth. And you're going to say that he was just having a hard day. But the demons are saying, we need to destroy her. Every time he picks up that cancer stick, whatever it might be, whether it is a cigarette or whether it's some other type of something he smokes, there is something going on in the mindset, and it's definitely not about God. And sometimes you can see the evil that shows up in his eyes. But once again, you dismiss it because, well, other people do it and other people don't react that way. But everybody has a different way of reacting to what they put in their body. And sooner or later, it gets worse. Some people got that story. I was good with even sitting down with them and having this, that, and the other. And then one day, and somebody got that story. And so I decided I wasn't going to. I remember back when I was with my ex-fiance, and he had been smoking his stuff all day while I was at work. And I showed up, not knowing that he had been smoking his stuff all day, because I wasn't paying that close attention to him. I was too busy going to the refrigerator looking for something to eat. And I remember saying something to him. I don't know exactly what it was, but I remember his attitude. His attitude showed up out of nowhere. Okay. Now, at the particular time in my life, which was back in my, 21, 20, somewhere in there, I had this thing where, you know what? If you're going to treat me a certain way, I'm going to treat you a certain way too. So by the time 21 rolled around and I was of legal age that I could be able to get something to drink, I said, well, if he's doing what he's doing, because at one point, you know, you start to figure it all out, even though they're trying to keep some things secret. I'm going to drink my drink and have my fun, and he can do what he does. Okay? But evil this particular day showed up in the worst way. And long story short, he ended up taking his hands and squeezing my neck, trying to kill me. Okay? And that wasn't the only time, because there ended up being some other times after that. And you know, you get those people who say, well, why would you stay? I mean, after the first time he tried to do this, that, and the other, that would have been my red flag. But you see, psychologically, there was some stuff going on with me, like so many other victims. And you start to associate evil as, well, you know, maybe I'm the problem. And well, back in the day, I mean, I saw some stuff happen and folks didn't die. And, you know, you just have some crazy mindset that shows up, and you dismiss evil and think that they're not going to kill you. No, he ain't that crazy, but is he? She ain't that crazy when she wielded that knife. I mean, enough to want to kill me. She said she didn't want to kill me. She was just scaring me. You really think? Look, when crazy shows up, you better believe it. And crazy only gets stronger. When one is not willing to change, when one does not have a support system around him or her to convict one's spirit to change, come on now. Somebody's going to make good on a promise sooner or later. Some men were able to get out of the household before the demon of all demons showed up in that crazy woman. But that doesn't mean that you won't end up attracting another one down the line. Another crazy wife, another crazy husband. You see, some people got those stories too. Why do I keep marrying these crazy people? Exactly. Why do you? Because you got something about you that attracts evil people. That's why marriage is not a good look for everybody. But I want to do right by the Lord. That's why I got married. Yeah, but you got married to the wrong person. And you ain't doing right by the Lord when you find yourself having to defend yourself, because some people got those stories too. They're not going to say that I had to end up slapping her when she came at me with the knife, or I had to end up punching him in his nose when he tried to choke me, or I had to see. They're not going to say all of that, because, well, that's not a good look for the social media mix, right? That's not a good look on somebody's website or personal page. All they want you to see is that everything is beautiful and peaceful and nice. But I'm telling you right now, somebody feels convicted to make some changes quick, fast, and in a hurry before you are the next victim. Because see, a lot of times these evil men and women who marry so quickly, who wanted to be with you so fast, if you think back, wanted to move in with you so quickly, and they wanted to pay for this and pay for that, they got a history of some victims. It's just that you haven't found those victims, or didn't want to talk to those victims, or they brainwashed you into thinking that it's everybody else's fault and that you're the dime, you're the wonder, you're the sweet pea, you're everything to them, you see. So you don't want to dig. But there's something dark. I'm telling somebody's business. There's something dark about her. There's something dark about him. You see. See, some of these messages are not about people who are in those quality relationships. They're just not. I mean, you're not going to click on a message, or at least you shouldn't be clicking on a message when you got a quality relationship and you have not exhibited any signs, and he hasn't exhibited any signs that y'all both crazy. But when you are in a relationship where you know that there's a dark side, You cannot sleep on that relationship. You've got to have one eye open, because you never know the day or the hour that that person's going to snap, because mama died, daddy died, because it was a crazy accident on the highway, because they lost their job once again, because the kids are driving them up the wall, because you said something as the wife or the husband once again that sent them off into some place where they're triggered, and it's going to take them a long time to get their senses back again. They might even have to be out of the house for a while, or you're going to have to move out. You see, evil shows up in so many different ways and can be triggered in so many different ways. And so you've got to be the one to safeguard yourself. And if you're talking about, well, God's going to protect me, God's going to protect somebody who knows how to run. Come on, David had to run from Saul. People in the Bible were running from trouble. Israelites had to get away from Pharaoh. And then, of course, Pharaoh ended up getting swallowed up by that sea and the chariots and everything else going after the Israelites, you see. Because sometimes evil husbands and evil wives are going to go after you, you child of God. Okay. They're going to come after you. They're going to want something from you. That evil ex, is going to want something, and they're hoping to pay you for all of the pain and suffering that they went through. Meanwhile, it's not about really you and all of what you did, but they got some things that go way back that were left unaddressed, but you just happen to be the focal point, you see. And that's where you got to get police involved. Mama can only do but so much. Daddy can only do but so much. And then a lot of times you don't want to get your relatives involved with your evil husband or evil wife, because they just might bring their evil into the picture. And now you got people in jail, and now you got guilt on your shoulders, because you should have never called up mama. You should have called up the police, because you know mama, she'll shoot somebody, or daddy, he'll come over there and he'll beat somebody. You see. So once again, this is a wake-up call for someone that evil husband or wife is not worth staying in any relationship with. It was an act. The marriage was an act. It was a show. It was a great show. It was a great run. But now the demonic has showed up, and the demonic is after praying Christians. The demonic is after praying husbands and wives that are linked up to somebody that they should have never been linked up to. Okay? That's where you get those people who will say you should not be unequally yoked. And when you see that you are unequally yoked, there's no sense in going to the Lord asking him, well, do you think, can you, would you? Once again, we don't serve this type of God that's going to sprinkle some magic dust on some relationship just because you got magical thinking, right? But he is a God that frees up out of the mistakes, out of the regrets. He frees us away from people who are like Saul, who are after blood. And Saul was after David, right? And so, too, are those evil husbands and wives and exes. So let go, let God, get the police involved where necessary, lawyers, always document when evil stuff shows up. Have it somewhere where somebody can find it, because if you are that one that ends up 6 feet deep in your grave, we need to know the story. We need to know the pain and the suffering that you went through, that this person caused you. Okay? We need to know these things, because chances are that there's a long history with this person. Okay? And we need to get down to the bottom of things, and you could very well save somebody else's life. Or save your own, because you don't have to be 6 feet deep in your grave. All right? So, blessings to you. Thank you as always for taking the time out to listen. May God be with you as well as those that you love. And do say a prayer for those that are evil around you, but also be smart and protect yourself. Check the description box for anything that might be of interest. And also, if some of you all are able to give, you are welcome to do just that. There are links also in the description box. Blessings to you.